Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for so beautiful kirtan. Am I audible?
No, Mataji, I can't hear you.
Um, Nisha Mataji, am I audible to you?
Yes, Mataji, I'm audible to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji,
Now,
for
yeah.
giving me this
It
opportunity.
was so nice hearing kirtan from it. So wonderful. So nice, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Mataji, will we wait more or shall we start the class?
Yeah, we will start the class now. Thank you for the kirtan, Mataji. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah. Uh, uh, yeah, we'll just start. Okay. So now we will chant the prayers.
Yes,
Om.
Mataji.
Um, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shritapatakamulam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय श्रीमते Hare Krishna. So it's been little quite long since we had this discussion last time because I think Sri Ram Navami was there. So there were certain services and then there was weekend and so on. So today we will continue um, the discussion from where we left last time. Okay, last time we had completed till this, I think so, this paragraph. So today we'll see from here probably. Okay, Nisha Mataji, are you available to read this paragraph?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I will do.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
In the effulgent rays of the spiritual sky, there are innumerable planets floating. The Brahma Jyotir emanates from the supreme abode, Krishna Loka, and the Anandamaya, Chinmaya planets, which are not material, float in those rays. The Lord says, "Na tad bhayasate suryo na sasanko na pavaka yat gatva na tante tad dhama parama paramam mama. One who can approach that spiritual sky is not required to descend again to the material sky. In the material sky, even we approach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, what to speak of the moon, we will find the same condition of life, namely birth, death, disease, and old age. No planet in the material universe is free from these four principles of material existence. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So we were last few paragraphs we saw Prabhupada mentioning about Prabhupada gives a glimpse of the spiritual world, though in the Bhagavad Gita overall there is not much in detail about it. But yeah, when Krishna mentions, gives a glimpse, little glimpse. Of course, in Bhagavatam and all we find details, but here also Krishna himself speaks little bit about the what it is in the spiritual world, and Prabhupada mentions about it in this introduction as well, that how there's no need of sun, moon, electricity, light, fire, and all in the spiritual world. It is effulgent. That effulgence is called Brahma Jyoti, and that is the effulgence coming from the transcendental body of the Lord Himself. And there are the different spiritual planets and so on there. And now Prabhupada in this paragraph mentions in the effulgent rays of the spiritual sky there are innumerable planets floating, which is that effulgence is called Brahma Jyoti. As many of you might have heard that the Lord, the Supreme Lord, can be the realization can be realized in three aspects. One is Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. Brahman realization is when the impersonalist. The impersonalist concept is what supreme means. Okay, he is just effulgence. That's the supreme. For them, that's supreme. So that supreme, that effulgence, nothing is but Brahma Jyoti. But one who is little more advanced, then they come to know that okay, they are on the Paramatma realization level, understanding that okay, the Lord is residing in the heart of all living entities as Paramatma. But highest of all is a devotee who understands that Paramatma is a plenary expansion, is the expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and that Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the effulgence coming from his transcendental body. But the Supreme Lord or Bhagavan is Lord Shri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now the Brahma Jyoti emanates from the supreme abode Krishna Loka. So there are innumerable planets called as Vaikuntha, and the topmost of them is the Krishna Loka, or which is also called Golok Vrindavan. And the Anandamaya Chinmaya planets. So Anandamaya Chinmaya means they are all Vaikuntha. Kuntha means where there is misery and all, like in this material world. Vaikuntha means where there is no misery. So in spiritual world, in the spiritual sky, in spiritual planets, there is no misery, and there is it's completely opposite to what we see in the material world with the material conditioning and all, which are not material, float in those rays. The Lord says, Natad bhashyate shurya na shashankana pavaka yad gyapta nivatante tadhama paramam mama. One who can approach that spiritual sky is not required to descend again to the material sky. So the Lord is assuring that one who goes back to that spiritual world or the spiritual uh, back home is not going to come back to this material world again. In the material sky, even if we approach the highest planet, so in the material sky, in the material world, there are 14 planetary systems, and earthly planet is considered to be the middle planetary system. Mhm. And above there are higher planetary systems, what they call as Swargaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka. Topmost of them is Brahmaloka, and Below, there are planetary systems like Patala, Sutala, Talatala, and so on. In the Even if we approach Brahmaloko, what to speak of the moon, we will find the same conditions of life, birth, namely. So, birth, death, old age, disease. These are the actual problems in the material world. For a common man, problem is okay. I have a financial problem or I have a health problem, but as per scriptures, the actual problems in this material world is birth, death, old age, and disease. And wherever you go, Krishna also mentions that right from Brahmaloka to the lower planet system, wherever you go, all these miseries of birth, death, old age, disease will exist. Even Brahmaji, it seems to us that those in the higher planetary systems they live longer, but they live as per their. It's just that the time factor in the higher planet system is different from time factor in for us as compared, to the earthly time factor. But even Brahmaji, he lives his 100 years, and then he also has to change his body. If he's a pure devotee, he goes back to Godhead. If not, he has to take a different body. And do you know that we all also, when we fell down from the spiritual world, the first body which we got was that of Brahmaji in any of some planetary system. We got the first body in the material world that we got was that of Brahmaji, but we couldn't become devotee again and go back. Hmm? Rather, we wanted to enjoy separately, and therefore we came down and down, and now we are stuck in the material world. Okay, Kanchan Mataji, would you be able to read the next paragraph, please?
Yes, Mataji. The living entities are traveling from one planet to another, but it is not that we can go to any planet we like merely being a mechanical mechanical arrangement. If we desire to go to the other planets, there is a process for going there. This is also mentioned. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Priti Yanti Priti Vrata. No mechanical arrangement is necessary if we want interplanetary travel. The Gita instructs Yante Deva Vrata Devam. The moon, the sun, and higher planets are called Swarga Loka. There are three different statuses of planets, high, middle, and lower planetary systems. The Earth belongs to the middle planetary system. Bhagavad Gita informs us how to travel to the higher planetary systems, Devaloka, with a very simple formula. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. One need only worship the particular demigod of that particular planet and in that way go to the moon, the sun, or any of the higher planetary systems. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvatam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, this reminds me that Sri Prabhupada has given us so many books, and one of his in the very beginning, the first book I think which he gave was Easy Journey to Other Planets. The name is very interesting. If you see any of Prabhupada's books, the name itself says Science of Self Discovery or Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. And the very first book in the very beginning, what he gave was what we got from Prabhupada was Easy Journey to Other Planets. So there's mention Krishna when we'll go to the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, we'll come across what Krishna mentions about whomever one worships will go to that planetary system. So we'll see that later. So Prabhupada gives a little bit glimpse again here. The living entities are traveling from one planet to another because uh, when we have our material desires, and as long as we become a devotee and go back to Godhead, um, we keep on changing from one body to the other as per our karmic reactions, karma, and desires, and so on. So we are just traveling from this planet, from this body or that body to another. But it is not that we can go to any planet we like merely by a mechanical arrangement. This Prabhupada specifically mentions, as during Prabhupada when he went to the West, and during that time, and the Krishna conscious, I mean, from Prabhupada was actually there on the planet. The scientists and all, they were trying to go to the moon planet, and there was a great thing like, oh, um, I think they landed on the moon and so on. So there are some interviews also. Prabhupada, somebody is taking interview, and he in questions about what do you think about it. So Prabhupada mentions very clearly it's not possible for one to actually go and land on the moon planet, first of all, because as per scriptures the moon is so higher, so much far away from earth. It is not possible in one's lifetime to be to go there. And even if one goes there, um, what the scientists astronauts had claimed, there was nothing, there is it's all barren land. So that is also not possible, because scriptures mention that moon is considered to be a higher planetary system, like a part of Swargaloka, like that. So their facilities are much more than what we see on the Earth planet. So there are certain interviews and certain places Prabhupada mentions. Now, which means that by mechanical arrangements, it is not possible to go. If you want to go to America, I cannot, go by bike or something, cycle or car. No, this is a process. You have to, even if I fly, I cannot actually, I may go to the airport, but if I don't have a ticket, visa, so on, I will not be allowed to enter into America. Even if I reach there. So, if we desire to go to other planets, there's a process for going there. This is also mentioned. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrayanti pritrivata. No mechanical arrangement is necessary if we want interplanetary travel. The Gita instructs Yanti deva vrata devan means what? The moon, the sun, higher planet system. Yeah, this is, so they are all Swargaloka. They are not um, um, what we I remember having studied in science, satellite and this and that, but and it is closer to the moon, is closer to the earth, something they used to mention in science books. But from scriptures we understand that these are actually higher planetary systems. It comes under Swargaloka, so it is not possible for us to without qualification enter into Swargaloka. There are three different status of planets: higher, middle, and lower planetary systems. The Earth belongs to the middle planetary systems, and Devalok, or the higher planet systems, or Swargalok. In order to enter there, one need to worship that particular. Again, in the Bhagavad Gita, when we go further, we will see that it's mentioned that whoever worships some demigod, they will go to the planet where that demigod resides. Hmm. And somebody who is worshipping Krishna, then they will go to the abode of the Lord, that is the spiritual world. So that is the way to actually go to the higher planetary systems. Okay, next paragraph. Yet Bhagavad Gita doesn't advise us to go to any of the planets in this material world. Why? Because even if we go to Brahmaloka, the highest planet, through some sort of mechanical contrivance, by maybe traveling for 40,000 years. So this is required, first of all. And we know that in this body we are not going to live for 40,000 years in this Kali Yuga. Who would live that long? We will still find the material inconveniences of birth, death, old age, disease. So it, you struggle so much, give so much effort and all to go to those planetary systems, and those four problems which are existing in this earthly planet is still existent there. So what is the use of struggling so much? After all, one is going to go, get diseased, grow old, and die. But what one who wants to approach the supreme planet Krishna Loka or any other planet within the spiritual sky will not meet with these material inconveniences. Among all of the planets in the spiritual sky, there is one supreme planet called Golok Vrindavan, the original planet in the abode of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. All of this information is given in Bhagavad Gita, and we are given through its instructions information how to leave the material world and begin a truly blissful life in the spiritual sky. So Krishna himself in his Vani, as we know, Bhagavad Gita is called as Gitopanishad. It is spoken by the Lord himself. So he himself mentions about his own abode and how one can actually approach uh, that supreme abode, how one can go there. That's why we say, Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study. Okay, I think with this we'll stop here. I request if you can please give some points from what we discussed, or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We will try to discuss on that. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji. Actually, Mataji, I have something to say, or you might also call it a doubt. Okay, so Mataji, if somebody goes to a demigod loka or Swarga loka, so will come back again to this material world?
Yes, they will come back. As per it is said that if one goes to the high planetary system, it is because I have some pious credit, some pious things I have done,
Hmm.
charity, opened hospital, something like that, or has done certain particular demigod worship as per mentioned in scriptures in that way. So one may go, but as long one can stay as long as one's pious credits are there. Once it is exhausted, I'll have to come back to this middle planetary system. Just like one goes to
So,
America, if their visa expires, they have to come back to India to renew their visa. So something like that.
so this is only applicable for demigods loka only, not in Vaikuntha or Goloka. Like if any devotee goes to Goloka, so that particular person will not come back to in this material world. But if somebody goes to Swarga loka or a demigod loka or a Pitr loka, so that particular person will come back.
Yes.
Means both are okay,
In the material world,
different things.
yes, in the material
Exactly.
world, if I go to the higher planetary system or lower planetary system, it could be in the form of, animal body, plant body, or something like that, or even lower. So they are like lower species and all. So after my bad karmas or good karmas, they're all exhausted. The reactions, I'll come back to the middle planetary system. But when we go to the spiritual world, I remember Srila Gurudev mentions an
Mention.
example that somebody may question, okay, if we go back, still we have free will. So there is possibility that like in the beginning when I fell back, fell into this material world because of my free will, misutilizing my free will. So probably I may fall back again. So how can I take it that okay, I will not come back again? So Gurudev mentions this example: a small child may see that, oh, this fire in the kitchen, on the stove, the fire, it looks so beautiful, it's blue color, it's dancing like this. But the mother says, no, no, Johnny, do not touch this fire, it will burn your finger. So the child will be like, why my mother is not allowing me to touch this, it is so beautiful. So when the mother is out of the kitchen, the child will go slowly and touch it. Then what happens? Starts screaming.
Definitely.
Then the mother comes and says, I told you not to touch the fire. So the child never did not know what was the meaning of getting burnt. Once he got burnt,
Yes, Mataji.
is he going to touch that fire again?
No.
No. So now we are
Likewise, this
burning.
same example was also mentioned in Prabhupada books also, perfect question, perfect answer.
Yes, it's of
This
course
example
all
also.
like Gurudev and all, they are just mentioning what Prabhupada has mentioned in his
Yes,
books.
Mataji.
So once we are burning here right now, so once we go back, we'll not make that foolish mistake to get burnt again. So Krishna, that's how assures that okay, once you come back to me, you're not going to
Mhm.
go back to the material world.
So, Mataji, is there also any other process to go to Vaikuntha? Like here, no, if somebody gone by mistake, like Alpayu. So their souls roams here and there. Then Panditjis or Brahmins came, do some yagnas. Then after yagna, they say now this soul gone to Vaikuntha. Is it possible? Like after that, you perform yagna, and that Panditji say that now okay, everything is sorted. Now this soul gone to Vaikuntha. Is it possible, Mataji?
No, it is not possible unless one is actually um, takes to devotional service or bhakti. It is not possible. I
So
know.
Mataji,
Hmm,
uh,
I kn-
where this soul reside then if somebody, you know,
leaves the body.
got death by alpayu or by suicide or by accident or by
Okay, there
animal
are
feeding like
different.
this,
These are
where
all
the soul reside.
different cases. One, for example, one has gone through natural death, old, became old and died. So
Mm,
that was their lifetime, uh, you know, time allotted for them in that particular body, and as per whatever karma they have done in their particular life, they are going to get a different body after that. So
okay.
once the body leaves I mean the soul leaves the body, as per the reactions, it's already decided what kind of body he's going to get, in which mother's womb he's going to get to. Hmm. So and somebody who lives by suicide and all, so they are going to get a
Mm-hmm.
ghostly body because they haven't completed their allotted time period. So they are going to go have a ghostly body unless they're for some whatever certain time allotted and all, and then they may get a different kind of
Okay.
body and all.
Now I got it. Now because there are so many ghosts in my city. I mean, near my native villages, like my my mother used to see them. So I just wanted it clear. Okay, now Mataji, I got it. If suicider gets the ghost body
Yeah.
and rest are depend on the karmas. Okay.
Yes.
So Mataji, as we all know that there is Pitru Loka also. So if somebody performs yagna for Pitru Loka, so they will go to Pitru Loka. Then
Yes.
what is Pitru Loka?
Yeah.
Is this
Pits.
also a planet like a sun, moon, or
Yeah.
it is another planet portion?
This is also a higher planetary system. It is like higher planetary system altogether. If we see, it's like Swargaloka. So there are different planetary system:
Okay.
Pittaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka, and all. So it's also
Okay,
a
ma'am. So
higher
if
planetary
somebody will go
system.
there, so they will definitely come back here in material world
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Everybody.
Okay.
I mean, it's all in the material world. If one can
Mm-hmm.
take up even somebody is in Swargaloka, if they can take up devotional service, they can go
Service.
back from there itself, to the spiritual world. But it is
Okay, ma'am.
mentioned that in the higher planet system there is so much facility for enjoyment that it is practically very difficult for one to become a devotee there. So even the demigods desire to come to the earthly planet in the family of a Vaishnava so that they can practice bhakti. And in the lower planetary system, of course, it's so miserable that it's not. It is very difficult to take up. But there are exceptional cases, of course. For example,
Yes,
our
ma'am.
present Brahmaji, he's a pure devotee, and that's how we have this Brahma Gaudiya Madhav Sampradaya. So he's going back to Godhead probably in his next, after completing this, because he's a pure
Mm.
devotee. But when we fell into the material world, we got the body of some Brahmaji. We were not devotees, and that's why we are still in this
Yes,
material world.
Mataji. So Mataji, Vaikuntha and Goloka considered as same or they are different?
Goloka Vrindavan is the topmost Vaikuntha. There are
Topmost. Okay,
millions of
Mataji.
Vaikunthas. Golok Vrindavan is topmost Vaikuntha where
So
Krishna.
we devotees desire to go to Goloka, not to Vaikuntha.
No, there is nothing like that because we all have, of course, it is the topmost, but the thing is, we all have our relationship with Krishna. It is already there. It's just that I have forgotten
Yeah.
it. So, when we become pure devotees, that thing will be revived. So, somebody is a cowherd boy, so he may go to, somebody is something else, somebody is very much devoted to Lord Ram, for example, so he may go to the Vaikuntha planet where Lord Ram, I mean, the Lord is present in his Lord Ram form.
Hmm.
So, like that, as per, I mean, like that, one may go to different.
Oh, okay, Mataji. So, Mataji, if somebody perform all bad sin mistakes their whole life, but at the time of death, they just chant Jai Shri Ram, or Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, that person will go to Vaikuntha. Is it possible?
Um,
Only at the time of death. Like if he is not bad and he's just chanting the name of God, like Ajamil.
yeah, first of all, it is not so easy for one who has not who has spent his life in all kind of nuisance activities without the bhakti,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time of death remembering the Lord. But there are exceptional, there could be exceptional cases because the Lord is very merciful. So there could be
Yes, Mataji.
exceptional cases, but in Ajamil's case also he got a second chance. It's not that he went back to God immediately. He got a second chance and utilized his second chance properly. The Vishnu
Mm-hmm.
Dutas didn't take him back. They gave him, chance. Then he left all his sinful, life, and he
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that's how further. So, but there could be exceptional cases, but we cannot always expect that. Okay, so I will remember, I'll do everything in this life, whatever I want to do. But at the time of death, I'll remember Krishna and I will go back to Godhead. So it is not so easy.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji, all clear. Thank you so much for your responding, for your answers. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm so happy to hear from you after a long time, probably.
So,
It's so
Mataji, I'm
nice.
really sorry actually. I was a bit occupied with so many stuff, so
Exams
like that
and
I
all that.
couldn't be able to
Yeah,
join the classes.
no problem, but I'm happy for today.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we'll close for today also. Hare Krishna,
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Dandavat
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.